Welcome to the Pride Against Prejudice podcast, a Shadowrun 4th edition actual play podcast.
I am Simon. I play Bertha Huggins, aka Huggy Bear.
I'm Al, or Draenor. I'm playing Mav or Maverick.
My name is Les, and I will be playing Murin.
I'm Hannah, or Ardwin. I play Slipstream.
My name is Jack. I'm going to be playing Boiger.
Hello, I'm Michael, and I'll be playing Sunshine.
And my name is Rhydian. I am the GM. If you would like to follow our runner's journey through 2072's New York, please feel free to check out the link to our living campaign map in the show notes. Additionally, if you would like to submit any new locations or create background information for any of the districts, details on how to submit this can also be found in the show notes. The following content may contain themes and material not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. It has come around to the 25th of June 2072, which is the date of the annual Metahuman and Changeling Pride Parade. So, I think I know one of you who will be going to that. Who else would be going? Who would be attending?
I'm assuming that Huggy is the one that you can pretty much assume.
Yeah.
Sunshine's probably going along as an ally. Yeah, probably with Luna as well.
Yeah.
Murin will probably be there on the sidelines, just kind of watching.
All right. Would anybody not be there?
Slipstream might actually be working there because he still has connections with a metahuman dance company in New York.
For some of you, it's just another day on the outskirts of the Rotten Apple. For once, it's not acid raining, and the sky is full of battleship grey clouds, promising to be okay for a change. You grab a soy calf and flip on the trid in the background. You've not got a job on right now, but you keep your link close, knowing that that can always change in the blink of an eye. Pulling whatever goop the soy dispenser has managed to screw up this time, you sit yourself down and start to watch the trid for lack of anything else to do while you eat. Looks like today is the Metahuman Humanity Pride Parade. Good for them, making sure that the corpse and UCAS don't forget they're there just as much as any person that happens to have round ears. For some of you, you're right there in the parade. Orcs, elves, dwarves, and every meta variant in between. Hey, was that a Nartaki that just went past? Even the changelings are out today, showing that they're here too, and a comet fragging with the mana levels and giving them fur, feathers, or Drek knows what else doesn't change their personhood. You're just crossing 23rd Street and giving the finger to a small humanist counter-protest while singing a really pretty Drekky version of Take It to Mister by Maria Mercurial in good-natured competition with a group of elves behind you, singing some hit out of the Sheer 5 years ago. And you find yourself flat on your ass, staring at the sky and a high-pitched squeal in your ears. Just as you're wondering how the dispenser manages to get cheese flavour confused with that chalky dreck it calls chocolate, you glance up at the news trid and see the rising cloud of smoke. Shakily, the camera zooms in as the news anchor's confused tone starts asking his editor what's going on. The camera cuts to a wider angle showing the people running from the blast, but not before you notice the bodies and parts of bodies on the ground. You feel like a cybered up troll just punched you in the gut as you sit up and try to make sense of things. Brightly coloured banners and signs are lying everywhere in amongst bits of rubble and nails? One of the elves from earlier is kneeling over her boyfriend with blood streaming down her face, screaming for him to get up, that they need to run as the others around them do just that. Looking around, you see a few nails sticking out of the armoured jacket you'd slung on this morning since you had nothing better, and it was cold, and sigh in relief that you're so crappy at clothes shopping. As you continue to watch the trid, dock wagon, crash cart, and other responders start to turn up. Looks like they've even cracked out the EMT attack choppers for this one, and Valkyrie drones are descending like flies. About 5 minutes later, 5 minutes too late, NYPD Inc. finally show up, just as most of the walking wounded are being taken away in ambulances. only to create more walking wounded by spraying everything in sight with gel rounds and sticker shots. So business as usual policing then. Though you do chuckle darkly as a dock wagon air ambulance descends to hover above the paying casualties and spins up its minigun facing the NYPD. A few hours later, and several security scans later, that you're amazed your fake sin held up to, you finally manage to get off Manhattan Island, battered, bruised, confused, and pissed as all hell. You walk to wherever you're getting home from after this fragging day. Huggy, your link begins to buzz in your pocket. You glance at the name on it and answer. It's your contact from the Suns.
This better be fucking good.
You seen it on the news, or were you there?
I was there. I've still got a nail in my fucking horn.
I was there too, Shama. There's a meet tonight. I'll send you a location. Come prepared but casual. I know you're wrong with a crew. We're going to war.
And the line clicks off.
Okay, that seems like a good idea.
Toiger, you also get a call. And it's your contact from the Ancients.
What do you want, Speedball?
You seen the news, Chummer?
Indeed I have. Difficult to miss.
Yeah. You needing work?
Always. Does it involve the people that did this?
Hopefully.
All the better.
There's a meet tonight. I know you've done a little bit of work for us on the side. I know you're not, but we don't know these guys very well. They mainly know, well, the big guys, the Suns. We need a guy in there as well. You up for it?
Of course I am.
I'll send you the location.
Be safe.
Yeah, you too. And again, the line clicks off. Huggy, are you doing the ring around?
Huggy will send a call round to the rest of the gang, saying, I have a job. You can probably guess what it's about.
Sunshine immediately texts back. Say no more. I'm in.
Actually, Huggy is then going to specifically text Sunshine and ask her if she's okay.
Been better. Luna's a bit shaken up. But we're fine. We weren't that close when it happened.
That's good to know.
Mary's just going to respond with, what's the job, what's the pay?
Don't know the job, pay is revenge.
Mary's in.
Off Slipstream, you get a massive diatribe about traffic control measures, and how dare the fuckheads spoil his show? Don't they know he was dancing?
Huggy will diplomatically not respond. Mav is just going to be, Mav, you okay?
Yeah, I wasn't there. Any word?
We've got a job tonight. Getting a job tonight. There's a meet. My folks.
I'm in.
I'll see you there. I very much want you to shoot somebody for me.
After doing the ring round and getting the team together, you head over to the corner of Kelly Street and Longwood Avenue in the Bronx. Longwood is generally a pretty nice area, lots of families on middling income, and a decent mix of metatypes that generally get along. Though as you pull around the corner to park up at the school you've been told to go to for the meet, you whistle under your breath. Not often you see that many gangers openly hanging around in an area like this. Even rarer to see members of the Sons of Sauron, the Ancients, and the Bulldog Crew, the biggest dwarf gang in New York City, standing shoulder to shoulder around a school building that has Mothers of Metahumanity and Orc banners up in some of the windows while a crowd mills around outside. And NYPD Inc. officers watch from a short distance with itchy trigger fingers. Walking up to the picket line, a troll with more piercings than face nods at you and waves you through, and a dwarf in combat biker leathers with a CMDT combat shotgun leads you into the school, through the corridors that are sort of jarring in their normality to a staff meeting room. Down either side of the table that has a few seats free, there's an array of metatypes, some in suits, some in gang colours. Two of them, the biggest troll you've seen in a long time in Sun's colours, and an elf in Ancient's colours, sit opposite each other, giving each other glares. Just past them, a couple of meta-human rights polyclub members at the head of the table, there's a small elderly woman in a grey suit with Mothers of Metahumanity lapel pin, and just behind her, standing with their arms crossed, are two orcs with an obvious family resemblance and hard expressions. As she stands, the room quiets down. Sit down, my dears. We have use of your skills.
Huggy currently has one of her roto drones sort of resting on her shoulder.
I think rotos are medium, which makes them dog size. Are they not?
Yeah, that's kind of just about of the right sort of size.
There was just a terrorist attack. I'm carrying a drone with me. Doesn't matter if it's uncomfortable, I'm packing.
The Sun's leader, he's a fucking big dude wearing a hoodie and leather over it that are just covered in gang patches and Sons of Sauron patches with pretty hefty facial tattoos. You can only really tell he's a troll by the size of him because he's got his hood up, like his hoodie, and it's kind of tenting it a bit at the back, and he's got big old tusks sticking out, and he's probably the biggest guy in this room. If he stands up, he's probably topping about 9 feet. The Ancients guy is an elf with a small green mohawk with a neon ancient symbol tattooed on the side of his head. Big old chunky rings, currently smoking, even though there are no smoking signs up in here because, it's a school, but the fuck are you going to do about it? The lady at the head of the table is not quite what you'd expect. She's definitely human, got a very maternal air about her, sort of pearl earrings, sort of short blue rinse hair, and a sort of grey business suit with the Mothers of Metahumanity lapel pin. Both of the two orcs behind her, they've got an obvious family resemblance, but they're pretty big lads. But they're standing where most other people in the room are sitting. I take it you're all sitting down at the table.
Yeah, I'm taking a seat.
You're instructed to.
Yep.
Once you do, she sits down again and says, "Thank you very much for coming. We have need of individuals with your skills who are not direct members of any of our groups, though I understand one of you is an affiliate, is that correct?"
That is correct.
The lady who's conducting it kind of says, "Now, as I understand that one of you has affiliate status with one of the more prominent groups here, another group," she looks at the guy from the Ancients at this point, has requested that someone of his choosing be along in the interests of fairness. And she gestures to Toiga. "I'll let you do your introductions later." Excellent. So, by now, you can't fail to be aware of what's happened. And we've just heard on the news within the last half an hour that Alamos 20,000 have claimed responsibility. I will not have a repeat of what happened back in 2039 in my city.
For those of us who are not in the country, could you remind us what that was?
That was the Night of Rage. There are people who have not played Shadowrun here, so I will explain. So it was 2039. It happened mainly in Seattle. So Alamos 20,000 are a wildly racist terrorist organization who basically herded metahumans, mainly orcs and trolls, into warehouses, barred the doors and set them on fire. This event sparked riots in most major cities around the world by similarly racist groups that resulted in the deaths of thousands of metahumans.
It was a bad time.
Very much so.
Same shit, different cunt.
The lady at the head of the table continues. We need a relatively unknown party to assist us in gathering information on who committed this atrocity, as not a single person in this room actually trusts the NYPD, Inc. or the UCAS FBI to actually do their jobs. I need a third party because as much as some people, she looks at the Sons of Sauron and Ancients leaders at this point, want to start gunning down every humanist member that they see, that is not going to get us what we require. Through the efforts of some of our less salubrious members here, we've received information that there is a gang leader who may have links to the inner circle of humanists who shouldn't be missed particularly. We want you to collect the data on his comm link. We don't care if you steal the comm, steal the data from the comm. As long as we get the data, I don't care. The target's name is one Frankie Matches Waters. He's the leader of a gang called the 39 Ragers. They're a bunch of idiot street gangers. They mostly just sell drugs with a bit of protection racketeering from what I'm told. We don't know exactly where their hideout is, but we know the general area. It's a particular block in the Crown Heights area that we think is their turf. While I would prefer that he live, because Mothers of Metahumanity believes that most souls can be saved. I do understand that occasionally eggs must be broken. However, no one outside of his gang is to be harmed. If they are, I will not pay you. Do I make myself clear? So, we're happy to give you 3,000 nuyen each for the data. I'm aware that it is a low figure. However, depending on what is on that comm, it will lead to further work. They're a small gang without major resources, so for people of your caliber, I don't expect it to be difficult for you.
As long as you keep to the contract, you'll do alright.
The other condition is that we need the data tonight. To clarify, it is about 7 p.m. at this point. The longer we wait, the more likely that things will slip through our fingers.
That's very short notice. I'll see what we can do.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Excellent.
Get them while they think they're still ahead.
Because by chosen caliber, you mean 50, duh?
She looks at you, raises an eyebrow, and just says, "No comment."
Like, why would we be wanting to be using anything smaller? I mean, punch hole in tank, punch hole in asshole. Yes?
I pay you to not know details, dearie.
Well, this is not what I am paid for, but yes, okay.
You certainly don't want to see what you did to the last one.
Now, do you have any questions?
Where can we find the target?
She explains that they don't know exactly where it is. However, there is a particular block in the Crown Heights area of the city that... so if you just look for Crown Heights...
Is Crown Heights still being shithole, yes? Like it always has been?
It's an E-rated slum in Brooklyn. Sorry, Rid, what was the gang name again? The 39...
39 Ragers. What year did the Night of Rage happen?
39.
Oh. So we've got, what, 5 hours to do this? Is that right?
Let's say she needs it by 5 a.m.
So we've got 10 hours to do this.
Well, I think I know what we do first.
Data off comlink, and we don't care about the particular state of Mr. Frankie at the end of this. What does that entail? Does that mean if I lop his head off, for example, and bring that back, would that count as a mission success?
Make me an intuition and logic.
I clicked on both of them. Did they go through?
You get the impression that she's very pissed off right now. So she's very much in an ask no questions, tell no lies kind of mood.
One head coming right up.
So she just doesn't want to know how it happens, just as long as it happens.
And no casualties outside the 39 Ragers.
Yes, that's right.
It'll be much easier to get the phone out of his pocket if his head's not getting in the way, though.
It all depends on how feisty he is.
Or if he has no kneecap.
Huggy, for one, is not feeling particularly subtle.
When is Huggy feeling subtle? Really?
Are you all heading off, then?
Yes. We can continue this discussion in the van or in Crown Heights.
Excellent. So, as you leave, Huggy, you get a comm.
I take it.
It's your contact from the Suns again. What's his name, by the way? Remind me, please.
Huey.
Huey. So it's Huey again.
Duh.
You're right, Huggy. Got a...
No, I'm fucking awful.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Look, you got a second meet. It's a block away in an alley. I'll send you a location. Just be worth your time.
Thank you.
I imagine that Huggy drove here in the van, but how's everybody else getting here?
Huggy may well have picked up Mav.
Yep, I was about to say that.
So, are you heading out with the rest of the party then, Toiga?
Indeed I am. I'm not walking.
Could take the subway.
You think I use the subway?
I will let you introduce yourself to the rest of the party, and if you could just describe a little bit of what Toiga looks like, please.
So, Toiga is, much to his shame, he is descended from New England royalty. He is tall, very skinny, almost angular. Pretty, but not quite.
I can see why you run with the elves.
The number of times I've been mistaken for an elf. I don't even have the ears. Look, and he lifts his hair up and shows that his ears are actually just very normal.
Are we all just gonna pass over the implied slight that round ears are the only normal ones?
Huggy is very specifically not responding to this.
I was wondering. I was wondering.
As you've not played Shadowrunner, there is in-character knowledge that your character would have that perhaps the player doesn't. Do you wish to
Don't bring up the
rephrase?
ears.
I misphrased that.
My ears aren't even pointy, look.
Round as a pound. Having said that, I wish it to be very clearly understood that that attack was as much against my community as it was against all of yours. When they get finished with the orcs and the trolls and the elves.
Huggy will spin on her heel at that and reach inside her jacket. What the fuck did you just say?
Because once they get finished with you, my behorned friend, the Awakened are next.
Yes. By the time they came for me, there was nobody left. We have all read this.
Yes, and I intend to make sure there are plenty of people between me and these racist thugs.
I would like to point out that I am ethnically allowed to make that joke.
So Toiga's making friends.
But you, Tinker Boy, nobody will mistake you for elf, especially not from back. Yes.
Oh, that's...
Trust me on this. I have experience.
Huggy is going to shrug.
It is my sincere hope that we can gut this ganger in his den, hand off the comm to the old lady, and then I can get the hell out of this shithole of a city.
Back into whatever shithole you are accustomed to being in, huh?
A comfortable shithole is better than a shithole that is on fire and full of racists, thank you.
Good luck finding anywhere in this fucking world.
As long as it's not full of racists.
Huggy is going to turn on her heel and head off towards the second meet that she's got.
Are you all piling into the van and going together, or is it just Huggy?
Huggy's walking. She'll point out the van to the rest of them.
Alright, so is anybody going with Huggy?
I'm assuming that I came in my own car, so I'm gonna just follow along.
Alright.
Huggy is, insofar as ever, unless anybody else has got the message, Huggy is walking off on her own.
Slipstream came on public transport, so Slipstream will go with Huggy.
Going somewhere, Huggy?
Meeting someone.
You want backup?
Come along.
As you go into the alley, it's pretty standard residential, like commercial type alley. There's a few dumpsters, a little bit of trash kicking around, but it's generally relatively well kept and tidy. There's a red and black BMW Trollhammer motorcycle and an acid green Suzuki Mirage parked up. And the Sons of Sauron leader with his hoodie pushed back, and those are some fucking big horns. I mean, they are big even by troll standards. And the Ancients gang leader are both sat astride the motorbikes. As you walk in, the Sons leader is holding out a Zippo for the Ancients leader to light up from. They're kind of giving each other "I'm not going to kill you now" kind of looks at the moment.
This is a truce, not a alliance.
Yeah, I think that would be a safe bet. As you approach Huggy, the Sons leader, how tall is Huggy? I seem to remember her being a little on the short side. 7 foot. So yeah, he's kind of towering a good 2 feet above you, looking down at you as he stands up to his full height and just kind of looks at you and says,
Heard of you.
I'm surprised.
You got recommended for this, that was enough. We've come to a decision.
Yeah?
Myself and my opposite number still don't particularly like one another, but the enemy of my enemy and all that.
He is my enemy's enemy. There?
Given that you're going there anyway, we're happy to give you a little bonus of 2,000 apiece to bring us Frankie, alive and able to talk. We don't care if he's carrying some extra lead, we just want him alive.
I think that can be arranged.
He does not need knees to be alive.
Not necessary to be alive, though I'd say put a stick of tourniquet on there.
Not the only way to make someone talk to keep them alive, but it makes it easier.
I mean, my drill has several speeds. There?
Fantastic. I like you, little Tusker. We'll give you a location. Here's a comm. Well, 2 comms, cause Pointy Ears over there wants to know when the pickup's made as well. We'll send you a location then.
We'll do our best to deliver.
Cash on delivery.
Huggy nods.
he kind of looks at you for a few moments as you stand there and says,
Well, off you go then.
Huggy will, sort of not bow, but sort of nod of respect, turn round, head back to the van.
As you're going, you hear 2 bikes start up. You can hear the deep sort of thump 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 of the troll hammer. It's got an engine like Honda Valkyrie. It's a big 6-cylinder bike, and you can just hear it thumping away. But you can also hear the sort of high-pitched whine of the Ancient Guy's sport bike as well.
Because of course the Ancient Guy's the Norse in the airplane.
Oh yeah, he's riding an absolute crotch rocket. The guy in the Suns needs something that's big enough to actually cope with his frame for a start, and something with enough bottom end power to actually accelerate. So yeah, you have a rough location. You have a block in Crown Heights. What are you doing? It's up to you guys at this point.
Well, Huggy's gonna send a message to our good old friend Sharifa and ask if they know anything about the 39 Ragers.
What's your loyalty with Sharifa?
2 at the moment.
Could you roll me 2 dice? It's just to get an idea of how long it takes her to answer. You get a hit. So it takes you a couple of tries. The first time you get an engaged tone. The second she answers and she says, "This better be good, Huggy. I'm pretty busy right now."
I need to know what you know about the 39 Ragers, if you know anything.
When she answers, there's quite a slight sort of Arabic woman on the other end of the line she's got quite dark brown skin with vertical lines tattooed on her chin, lots of braids. Some of them have got beads in them, and she has, you're not sure if it's red paint or a tattoo that kind of frames her eyes, runs across the nose and forehead, and just underneath the eyes. And she kind of looks at you and says, "I've heard of them. They're kind of bottom feeders."
You know where their base is?
Crown Heights? I mean, we're talking proper bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Cockweasels here, man. I think they're not in our part of the city, so we don't have to deal with them, you know?
That's good to know. Thank you.
That's alright. I mean, I can give you a rough idea. As I say, they're in Crown Heights. They're on the north side of the Eastern Parkway. Just west of Browder Parks somewhere, but can't really narrow it down much more than that.
That's still narrower than what I've got.
Yeah. So you were actually given the block that they were on.
Oh, right.
By your contact. They just don't know where in that block they are.
Oh, Huggy, you can, I don't know, do a technology, yes? Find out which apartment these guys are sucking cock in?
That can definitely be arranged.
What? Slipstream knows nothing. He has phone, he makes phone call, he hooks up with Tink, he gets people dead. What?
Sharifa kind of looks at you. And, is there anything else I can do for you there, Huggy?
Not right now. I suspect I will have some work that needs done in the near future.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, yeah, some of my guys were there. We haven't seen two of them.
Will want to have a word with Lipper when I have the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm... shall we say that we've just had to give him some dream chips and to distract him, because, yeah, he's not happy at the minute.
Thank you very much.
Anytime. And she clicks off the call.
Yeah, I'll wire her 500 new yen.
Alright, cool.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna call up Miguel Del Santo.
Who is Miguel?
Miguel is my contact in ORC, the Orc Rights Coalition.
Roll me a memory check. How highly placed in the Orc Rights Commission is he?
He's a local area coordinator. He's actually paid.
Cool. Yeah, roll me the memory. Well, it's not a glitch, but that's fine. Okay, ring him.
Ring ring.
What does Miguel look like? I'm imagining he's an orc.
He is an orc, and he is Hispanic, as you may also have guessed by that name. He's actually, he's Central American.
Possibly of Aussie descent, then. So he kind of looks you over and says, Mav, wasn't expecting to hear from you so soon.
Well, you know, stuff goes down, and, people try to do stuff about it.
Yeah,
You ever tangle with some people called the 39 Ragers?
Mav, I was at the meet. Did you not see me?
You were?
Yeah, I was at the back, but I was there.
Sorry, man, I didn't see you.
That's alright. I mean, Margaret, she's alright for a human, but she does kind of tend to take over the room a little bit, you know? I mean, it's...
In that room, the little old lady, you can't not pay attention to her. Filled with massive muscle gangers.
Dude, those gangers, they're fragging Drek scared of her.
Obviously, everyone is. She's a little lady.
I wouldn't frag and cross her. Do you know what her sons do to people that frag with their mum? Do you really want to know? Because I can tell you now, it ain't pretty.
I'm surprised she doesn't do it herself.
She doesn't need to. She's got her kids for that.
Sorry for not seeing you. Do you know any more about those Drekkers?
Dude, if I'd have known more, we'd have told you.
Fair enough. Sorry to bother you.
That's alright. Hey, I know you're kind of on the job right now, but do you want to get a beer after all this is done? I could
do with a beer.
I could do with getting steaming.
Yeah, got you there, mate. I've got you there.
Cool. I'll get the first round. Let me know when this is all over, yeah?
Alright, see you then.
Yeah, in a bit.
Oh, that was stupid.
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Yep,
resist.
that was good. Well done. Screw you. Next, I'm going to call someone who almost certainly wasn't at that meet.
Alright.
Which is Gander.
Who is Gander?
Gander, Morgan Gandergrant, is a male dwarf who is a trooper in the Lone Star.
Lone Star don't have the city contract, but they are still a fairly large security company, so give me a roll.
Yeah, that's a 0.
It just goes straight to voicemail.
I leave him a voicemail saying, get back to me if you can.
Absolutely fine. Is anybody else doing anything before you head over in the general direction?
Did we agree that these guys are bottom feeders?
They're pretty low on the pecking order of street predators.
So, does anyone want to give Skid Row a call?
Do you mean Skid Marks? Because he's the same gang as Sharif.
Sorry, Skid Marks, my bad.
He's the same gang as Sharifa.
Skid Marks and Ripper are two of Sharifa's
Ah,
banners.
yeah, okay, fair enough.
That and skid marks isn't the brightest spark.
What about the Matrix legwork trying to track these guys down?
Well, we need to get closer to do that. Matrix is range dependent.
Huggy will certainly be she'll get into the van, explain that we've been given an additional job on top of that. Two of our employers want Mr. Frankie alive. They are willing to pay for it.
Alive and extracted, not just alive and left.
Fine.
So we are going to pick up Frankie and give him a little trip to see some of our friends.
Okay. Works for me. Huggy, do you have a fly spy or similar surveillance drone?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's fine.
I sort of nod to one of the many little... The inside of the van is... there's two sets of benches that sort of latch up onto the side that are currently down for people to sit on. And all along the walls there are toolboxes that are riveted into the walls, and bags that are and sort of like satchels bolted to the walls. Out of one of them, a little sort of insectoid drone crawls.
Comers, I think we should, if we head towards the right area, I can have a look on the Matrix while Huggy has a look in the meat space.
Yeah, I can have a good look around, see what we can find.
All right, who's going in what vehicle? Because you do have two vehicles.
What's the second vehicle?
Muren has a car.
It's a sexy car.
It's filled with sexy troll.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Huggy.
Fine with me.
I'm probably also with Huggy.
Wow! Guys, the trust! Where is it?
Those two both know Huggy.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
You can have the collection of weirdos and...
You know what, I'm gonna be rolling around town with my windows down, my arm out the window, and just, like, random gesturing at people, because why not? While playing the Beach Boys.
So Murin gets Slipstream and...
Oh yeah, I'm going in the car. The car's nicer. And I'm annoyed with myself for making a bad first impression on Huggy.
He's not exactly in the best mood to make good impressions.
She has a nail from a nail bomb in her horn right now.
It's not about impressions we make on each other, it's about the impressions we're soon to be about to make in others.
Yes, you are going to have plenty of opportunity to make a good impression on Huggy in the following 10 hours.
The fist-shaped impressions.
Is there a comm link between the two vehicles, or are you just sort of riding along in silence?
If you want to keep open comms between each other, assuming that you have exchanged numbers, you're very welcome to, but there is no requirement to do so.
Huggy is going to be cold simming the van, so she can happily chat with anybody on comms as she drives.
If anyone wants to join into that comms, they're going to have to connect to the aux cable in my car.
So just Beach Boys blasting through the comms channel.
If anyone wants to connect to the network, they're going to have to go through the aux cable in my car.
So is your car is pre-wireless Matrix? It's a little bit older, so you actually have to physically plug in.
You're damn right.
Not old, it's classic.
You
It's old.
get better sound that way.
Come on, dude, it's old.
It's vintage.
It was cheaper to retrofit for my big-ass body, alright?
Yeah, your car is older. You have to actually physically plug in with a pre-crash data port. Sorry, pre-crash 2.0 data port. There is an important difference. As you drive over into the heart of Crown Heights, the urban decay has run riot. Right about the time the locals did after the quake back in 05. Cracked and crumbling brownstones sit shoulder to shoulder with each other, mosaicked in layers of graffiti and gang tags, caked in dirt and pollution. As you eventually get out and walk down the street, past the neon from the stuffer shacks, drecky fast food joints, bookies, dive bars and strip clubs, you have to tighten up the firewall on your AR feed, your augmented reality feed, at least twice to deal with the spam trying to sell you bad food, bad obs, cheap booze and cheaper sex. And you get solicited by street girls and boys at least 3 or 4 times. You sigh as you shake your head at another dealer offering you tablets in a baggie. Look down the street filled with hustlers, grafters, pimps, hookers and dealers.
Sunshine waves to Stella as we're passing.
It's gonna take a while to find Frankie squat in this mess, assuming a rival ganger hasn't already capped him.
This is going to be a fucking pain. First things first, I'm sending up Hugin to scout the area. Hugin is the VSTOL. Yeah, stealth plane.
You send it up, and could I get an edge roll, please?
None?
Could you give me the drone's equivalent of reaction? So the drone just misses 3 or 4 pistol rounds that get flung up at it from a random alley 3 or 4 blocks over, as somebody just sees the drone and shoots at it for shits and giggles. Are you fully rigged at the moment?
Yes, I'm jumped in.
Are you hot or cold sim, please?
I'm gonna cold sim because I don't like being shot at.
That's fair enough. Could you give me a fully rigged perception check?
Jumped in rigor perception. Yeah. I am going to post edge that.
Alright, so you have 2 successes overall. So from your little eye in the sky, you're not getting a lot. There's hustlers, grifters, pimps, hookers and dealers, and as well as the just general Joe public that you saw before. You see a couple of gangers, but they're not in the right colours and they're a couple of blocks over.
What colours are they?
The Ragers have red, black and yellow colours. So I'll just say that you got shown this, or that you can find this after one of your other contacts mentions it.
I imagine that Sharifa would have known.
Yeah, their colours, their patch that they wear is a black background with yellow flames on it and a red 39. Because these guys are shitbags.
So there's obviously going to be graffiti of that symbol because it's their territory.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere where it's particularly concentrated? Like there's more of it?
That is a really good question, actually. Roll me if you're kind of walking around the street, give me a perception check. I'm gonna say you are a -1 on this because you're constantly getting hassled by like dealers and people like that, just trying to sell you stuff. It's a little bit like trying to walk down the Royal Mile in Edinburgh during festival season, getting constantly flyered. Except this time it's drugs.
What do you mean this time? You've been to Edinburgh.
Right down a back alley. Goes, hey chummer, do you want to buy a comlink?
-1.
Yep.
Submit.
There's a lot of it on the block you've been directed to. There's more of it at the western end, the northwestern end of the block. You're not getting much more than that. There also seems to be some in other areas, like other blocks, but some of that's been sprayed over with other tags that have then had the Ragers put back over it and stuff like that.
So if it's getting sprayed over, that seems to indicate to me that that's an area of lesser influence. So I'm going to start wandering off. What did you say, northwest?
Yeah, so it's on the northwestern part of the block that you've been directed to. But that block has a mix of their graffiti. There's also quite a few that looks kind of like a gargoyle, you think?
That sounds like a metahuman gang.
Can I take a closer look at the gargoyle and try and see if I recognize it?
Yeah, do you have any sort of street knowledge, gang knowledge, anything like that?
I have knowledge skills in art, so I don't know if that's very useful. Well, I am a pond. What are you going to do about it? I didn't care about the sneering of the proletariat when I was a child, and I don't now.
Pointer, when the revolution comes, you shall be first against the wall.
And I shall look fabulous.
So, I'll give you art at a -4.
Okay, because it's not like the high art that I'm used to. Let's see what shite I get.
No, this is some street urchin with a can of spray paint. You're looking at it going, I think it's meant to be a gargoyle, but they should have followed the classic medieval pattern for a gargoyle. This just... they followed the fantasy style, and it just doesn't look right. Come on, guys.
Very 2040s off them. I'm going to lose interest and keep wandering in that direction.
What's everybody else doing? Is there anybody, like, looking around, talking to people?
I would like to have a look in the Matrix and see if I can find like a Matrix house that the gang might have at their hideout.
Alright, go for it. Give me a scan roll. For anybody listening, you're probably used to 5th edition Matrix. 4th edition Matrix is wildly different and quite weird and janky, so just roll with it.
I'm gonna go with Cold Sim, because I like not getting my brain fried.
There's a lot going on here, particularly in AR. You're having to... A lot of it is centered around advertising, be it the bars, the bookies, the hookers. Even some of the dealers are putting up adverts. There's a lot of AR graffiti as well. There's a lot of buildings around here, particularly businesses, have been marked with the Ragers tag. Make me a... Do you have any gang knowledge at all?
I've got possible relevant knowledge skills: sex work, yakuza, metahuman trafficking, drugs. Any of those?
Not directly to what I was thinking of, but there are a lot of sex workers in this area. So, do you want to give me a roll on that?
Yep.
Just for things that might occur to Sunshine.
3 hits.
Yeah, a lot of the local working girls and boys, they're gonna know. They got to know the local gangs if they want to survive. They got to stay on the good side.
Okay, in which case, did my scan roll in the Matrix I didn't find anything particular, did I?
No, you're finding a lot of comm links. Most people have got them running on public mode, projecting, some of them projecting sins. There's a couple of really bad fake sins here. Like, you're looking at it going, dude, really?
Dr. Dirk Dingleberry? Really? Really?
Mr. Joe Boggs.
Come on, dude. McLovin? You don't even have 2 names.
You smile as you remember that back when Sunshine lived in Denver, some of the names that Mark Longfeather used to give to people that bought fake sins from him.
Actually passed because I slightly spent a plot point to say that I recognised someone earlier.
We're not playing Anarchy!
I know, but it was funny.
Yeah, it's fine.
So yeah, can I go and meet up with my elf sex worker that Sunshine knows?
Yes, you can go talk to the person you yelled at. Can you give me an edge roll?
Yes. Oh dear, that's a critical glitch.
So, as she turns around, it's not actually who you thought it was.
Oh.
And she's actually just quite an effeminate guy. And he kind of looks you up and down, and they were an elf, wasn't it?
They're an elf, yeah.
They're actually human as well. It's dark and there's a lot of neon.
Oh, sorry, Chummer. I thought you were someone else that I knew in the biblical sense.
That's fine. For 50 new yen, we can know each other in the biblical sense.
I'm actually trying to get on the straight and level nowadays, but thank you.
Well, I mean, I'm a guy, you're a girl. It will be on the straight. I don't know about, and depending on the bed, it might be on the level.
He has a point.
Tell you what, Chummer, would you take 50 new yen for some information instead?
Yeah, can we find somewhere to talk indoors?
Yeah, is there like a soy calf place near here?
Yeah, sure. I've been out working for quite a while. These shoes, they look awesome. They're like quite a nice pair of synth leather brogues.
Yeah, they look like...
These look nice, but my feet are killing me.
Yeah, I get you, Chummer. Let's... Tell you what, since I'm paying you, this definitely counts as work, so where do you want to go?
I know a place. and he takes you towards one of the local bars. You're not sure it even has a name. It's just got like a neon sign of a beer and a cocktail glass outside. You walk in. It's not wildly crowded, but it is fairly busy, and he takes you to a booth near the back, looks at you and says, "Mine's a bottle of Soywiser."
I'm going to roll a knowledge skill here. Do they have any sheer wines here? Do they have maybe a Salem Chardonnay or a Portland Porter? Or...
No. they Portland Porter. Porter's a kind of beer, mate.
Sorry, Portland Port is what I meant.
Portland Port, yeah. Cool.
Can you tell I haven't had a drink for 10 years?
Possibly?
Are you just looking at what's on the bar, or are you actually asking the barman?
Like if there's a menu behind the bar or an AR1. Is the wine menu red or white? I'm guessing is the wine menu.
The wine menu is red synthahol, white synthahol, pink synthahol. Although you're not sure if the pink synthahol is actually just some sort of alcopop or not.
It's difficult to tell at the best of times.
Do they do soy calf?
Yeah.
Okay.
The barman looks mildly confused when you order a soy calf, but he hits the button on the machine, which is looking a bit... It looks like it was dragged kicking and screaming out the 2030s, but it still goes.
Yeah, I think I trust soy calf more than I trust pink synthahol. Okay, so I sit down, chummer of negotiable affection. Yeah, feel free to take your boots off and just chill.
He points under the table. Way ahead of you, mate. Way ahead of you, pal. The floor's cold and my feet are loving it.
Sunshine turns to the guy that's okay, chummer. So this is a Drekkie area. I think you can probably guess what line of work I'm in.
I mean, if you're looking to get a start, I know some girls who can help you out.
No, that's the industry I've left.
Alright, fair.
I run the shadows now.
We'll get you.
Hey, I get to choose my own hours nowadays. Well, I mean, I'm also working part-time at a cafe in town. Oh my god, it is the most fucking bougie place you have ever seen.
He smiles at you and leans back, putting his hands behind his head and says, "I make my own hours."
I think you had a better deal than I did. Anyway, listen, this area, there's 39 Rager tags all over the place around here. Do you know where they're based?
Give me a negotiation roll, please.
I got 2 hits.
He kind of looks you over and says, "I might have heard of them. What's it worth?"
What's the going rate for something like that around here? Say 200?
Give me another negotiation check, please.
3 on this roll.
Yep, so on the previous roll, he actually got 4 on their roll. They got 1 hit to your 3 here, so you have 2 net. So he kind of smiles and says, "We can work something out for 200. So I know the Ragers. He kind of tilts his head to one side and points at his ear and says, "Fortunately for me, it's not too bad around here, but I know particularly a lot of the girls who are metas, they get treated pretty bad by the Ragers. A lot of them try to stay away, but, you know, sometimes things are tight, so a girl might not have many other options."
Yeah.
I'm told by some of them, Frankie's got a thing for elf girls. Fucking hypocrite. Most of them won't give him the time.
Seriously?
Yeah, I know. I don't try to frag and understand, you know. Most of them won't give him the time of day, but...
when you're desperate.
Yeah, look. I did see Abby go off with Frankie earlier. She's a little bit pointier in the ear than you and me, you know what I'm saying? She's... And she's been on the game long enough that she knows how to manage him, but... What's it to you anyway, Chummer? Why are you asking?
You follow the news?
I mean, not normally, but the last few days.
Kind of hard to miss.
A little bit.
Yeah, Let me put it this way, Chummer. My ears might be round. That doesn't mean a whole lot to me.
Yeah.
I'm currently on a contract for people who are trying to get even.
I see. Look, if you're planning on rolling the Ragers, I might know something, but you gotta promise me something, yeah? You gotta make sure that Abby's okay.
Done and done. Also, we don't get paid if anyone else gets hurt, so it's already in our best interest.
Alright, look. The gargoyles, they're a block over from here. They've got beef with them right now. Vinny's a glitchy dickbag, but he's so fixed on Dienka that he makes sure the Joy Toys on his turf don't get slapped about. He'll still cap you if you cross him. Some stupid fragger pissed him off last week and only survived because they used to be chummers. Yeah, they used to be chummers. Get them on board, so we'll be okay after, and I can let you know what's going on.
Deal.
Alright.
Hey, can I get your comm number before I go?
He gives you his comm. His name is Santiago Espiga, I believe that's pronounced.
I'm assuming he's either a 1-1 or a 1-2.
He'll be loyalty 1, probably connection 1, I'd say. He basically doesn't know anybody beyond this. Like, you want something from this area, he's probably shit hot. Beyond that,
Okay, so I messaged the rest of the team going, hey guys, I think I've got a possible in. We need to go and see another gang called the Havoc Gargoyles.
Oh, they sound nice.
Would you believe I just saw a terribly drawn gargoyle on a wall?
Santiago gave me an address.
yes, he did.
I guess we're going to see a lot more gargoyles. Don't comment on how good or otherwise you think they're drawn.
Even if they're drawn terribly?
Especially if they're drawn terribly.
Especially if they're drawn terribly.
I will do my best.
Tiger, with all the love in the world, let me do the talking, please. Or Huggy.
Probably for the best.
I guess we all go over there?
Huggy's gonna stay in the van, actually.
So when you head over there, it's a couple of blocks over. As you head over there, you do notice that the gang tags that were largely the 39 Ragers are turning into gargoyle ones. You eventually find yourselves outside an old brownstone. The whole row of brownstones kind of has some 2030s concrete monstrosity sticking out of it that they've just kind of slapped on, and that thing is definitely not built to code. Oh boy, that's a death trap. You walk up to the door, it's open, and in the corridor there's a particularly large orc who's wearing synth leathers with gargoyle patches on his shoulders.
I knock and walk in.
He kind of looks at you, and he's already got a Ruger Super Warhawk in his hand, and he kind of looks you over and does the lifting the head nod, if you know what I mean, and says, You've either got business with the gargoyles, or you're really fragging stupid.
Option 1, please.
Alright, start talking.
We're a team of runners. We're on a job at the moment. Our target is the 39 Ragers.
As you say that, he just kind of leans over and spits on the floor.
Agreed.
Talk to some of the local talent around here. They need your gang to step in to cover this area once we take out the Ragers. In return, they'll give us their exact location. Also, as this is in your interest, any chance you want to throw in some firepower our way?
You can see he's kind of fiddling with the hammer on the Ruger, and if you've any kind of firearms knowledge, you're kind of looking at this going, glad he's not pointing that at me right now. He's not pointing it at his foot. Hopefully there's not a basement here, otherwise somebody's getting a nasty shock.
Will the floor of this place stand up to a bullet shot?
No.
From a Ruger? No. It's a fuck-off big Dirty Harry revolver.
That bullet is going to stop somewhere the other side of the subway underneath this place.
He kind of looks at you and nods and says, I can approve of that, but it's kind of above my pay grade. You'll need to speak to Vinny and Dienka.
Can you take us to them?
I mean, I can take you to them. I don't know if they'll be willing to talk to you right now.
Don't you think it's pretty important that we get this sorted soon?
I am thinking that we are waiting for the noise to stop from behind door, yes?
The orc you're talking to gives you a tusky grin and says, "Oh yeah." They're,
Otherwise engaged, yes?
again. Yeah. Grab
So we've been waiting, yes?
yourselves a soy burger. They started 10 minutes ago. They're gonna be all pile.
Yeah. I get out stopwatch. You know, his endurance may be impressive.
He kind of sighs and says, "I wish it wasn't."
Chummer, here's my com code. Give me a ring when they're free.
Yeah, will do. Look, you wanna make a good impression? Bring a soy Rito and a pack of smokes over afterwards. Vinny's usually kind of peckish afterwards, and Dienka likes to have a smoke, you know?
Well, I would have thought after that kind of length of time she would be smoking from friction, yes?
He grins and says, "Yep, and Vinny can't talk proper after."
Somewhere in this ocean of oversharing, I think we got the point that we were to come back with a pack of smoggers, a couple of soy Ritos, and you'll give us a ring, yeah?
Yeah.
Thanks.
He stops for a moment, thinks, says, "If you come back early, can you bring me a pair of earplugs as well?"
Sure thing, Chummer. Okay,
It's when they start in with the pet names.
Yeah, I'm assuming there'll be a stuffer shack about 5 meters away from here, right?
Not quite that close, but pretty damn close.
Urine is already halfway down the street looking for the next.
I go down to Stuffer Shack, I drop. That's probably how I come to like 30 new yen.
As you walk in, the guy on the till, he's a dwarf, and he just kind of looks at you and says, "Welcome to Stuffer Shack. How may I stuff your shack?"
Hey, Chummer. Needing a pack of smoggers, soy Ritos, and earplugs. I know where soy Ritos are, aisle 17. It's weird how the company manages to build all these stores exactly the same, but I don't normally do smoggers. I'm guessing they're behind the counter.
He just sighs and looks at the display of smokes behind him, looks at you again and says, "What brand?"
What's good?
Sweet silence tobacco.
He just reaches behind him and just picks something at random, slaps it on the counter.
Cool.
They'll kill you the same way.
Earplugs are aisle 5, cosmetics.
They're in with healthcare on aisle 3.
3, cool. Alright, back in 5, Chummer. For some reason they have 17 different brands of earplugs and one type of soy Ritos.
Oh yeah, they only sell their own brand soy Ritos. There's like loads of different kinds, but only one brand.
So I get some decent middle of the road, I don't know, soy ham and soy cheese, soy Ritos, and
I knew this campaign was going to be filled with uncomfortable real-world commentary, but this is getting a bit too real right now.
We have reached the purchasing fast food stage of this game.
a couple minutes later I come back to the counter dude and yeah, drop off, I'd say 3 soy Ritos, 1 pack of earplugs, and the smoggers that he left for me.
By the convenience of narrative, just as you're paying, you get a text come through that says, "They're done. They'll meet you in the kitchen."
I just text back OMW.
As we're doing this, Huggy's going to continue circling the block with the drone.
Of interest, what did Slipstream's stopwatch get to?
Do I need to crack out a random number generator? They were going for a good half hour.
It's not bad, yes, for straight couple.
Are any of you hanging out outside waiting, or while Sunshine goes to buy stuff?
I was literally just about to ask that. Yeah, I'm staying outside checking, like, generally around for threats.
I mean, your body... Actually, give me a perception roll. Let's let the dice decide.
Yes. Oh, God, please don't let the dice decide. They're dicks.
There's not really threats. You do... Though, give me a quick reaction roll as well. You got 2 hits on your perception check. It's a Drekkie neighborhood in a Drekkie part of town. There's threats everywhere, but none of them are immediate, though you do have to sort of slap a hand away from your pocket at one point as somebody tries to lift your wallet.
I'm gonna slowly move my hand towards my axe. Not taking it out, I'm just making a point.
I mean, they've moved on at this point. They've not gotten away with it, so they've changed street. They've gone to try and find another mark.
You see, the axe thing works every time.
Yeah, you find yourselves waiting outside. You get the text. Who's going in to see Vinny and Dienka?
Sunshine will.
Yeah, Huggy will be willing to join at this point.
Slipstreams is going to go in there.
I was going to suggest one of the traits I've got is first impressions.
Oh, that will give you a +2 on your rolls when you're first meeting somebody.
Can I go with Sunshine?
Yeah, 3 of us.
Try and make a good first impression?
If you like, yeah.
That way, if it goes badly, I can also, stun people.
When you go in, the orc you saw before kind of nods to you and leads you in. There's another orc in a tank top and a slightly crappy hat with some goggles on it, sat in the kitchen. I mean, calling it a kitchen is kind of generous. It's a soy dispenser, a cheese that when somebody opens it, the only things in it are soy Weiser and Cheese Whiz.
I imagine it isn't for eating.
What Vinny and Dienka get up to, I ain't asking. And there's also a female orc who... She's about the same size as Vinny, bright crimson hair that's been shaved along the sides but is still kind of long. She's got a pretty nasty scar across her face. Like, it looks probably like somebody had a crack at her with hand razors and tattoo across, like, just under her collarbones. It seems to be something written in Orzet.
I read Orzet.
I won't make you roll. It's basically the Orzet equivalent of Carpe Diem.
I'll, nod and say hi in Orzet.
She nods back to you and says, "Hello. Now what do you want in Orzet?"
We want to roll the 39ers.
She looks you over and says, "I mean, Frankie's got a thing for elf girls, not trogs." And then she gives you a shit-eating grin. "What do you want from us?"
Has some of this changed into English so that the rest of us can follow, or is this still all in Orzet?
Until she's spoken to in English, Dienka's sticking with Orzet.
At this point, she'll switch to English and nod to Sunshine.
Hey, Chummer.
Dienka kind of nods at you, and Vinny says, "Oh, so we're actually including me in the conversation now, are we?" And Dienka just kind of looks at him and says, "It's nothing you needed to know." And he just kind of shrugs. And are you holding the bag from Stuffer Shack at this point?
Yeah, I passed the earplugs to the guard on the way in.
He gives you a silent-mouthed "Thank you."
Chummer, they were like 2 new yen. You could have gone and bought them yourself.
Can't leave his post.
The man's on
On
duty.
duty.
Come on.
He just nods and says, "They get it."
Yeah, I hand over the bag with the smoggers and the soy-ritos.
They both kind of break out in a grin, and Vinny starts tucking into... It's kind of lukewarm by now, but doesn't seem to bother him. Dienka lights up and kind of looks at the pack and says, "Don't usually get these ones, but free's free."
Wines are my specialty, not smogs, I'm afraid.
She's kind of using her thumb to jam it up between one of her tusks and her upper teeth. No, one of her tusks and her lower teeth, it would be, so that it stays in place and she doesn't need to actually take it out by hand.
As I said, we're looking to roll the 39ers. I understand that firstly, you might have an interest in giving us some assistance, and secondly, we need to know exactly where to hit.
and the local talent have asked if it's going to leave a power vacuum. They want you to step in.
They kind of look at each other and grin. Vinny's kind of slurping something. You don't actually want to know what the frag that is out of the burrito. And looks at you and says, all right, so what you're saying is you're going to kick the Dreckheads out for us. You just want us to make sure that the local street workers find new protection.
Make sure someone worse doesn't come in.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're looking for a dreckhead named Frankie. Do you know him?
Dienka spits on the floor and just says, yeah, he gave me these, and points at the scars over her eye.
I assure you he's going to get something worse.
She just gives you a very, very tusky grin and says, make it last.
Our instructions were to bring them to Sauron unharmed and unspoiled.
Ooh, are we taking the hobbits to Isengard?
That was the reference I was going for, thank you.
Huggy, being a massive nerd, grins widely.
I gotta disagree on that one. Meat is back on the menu, boys, because all we need is his comlink, his datapad, and our job is to retrieve the datapad, not him. Everyone else.
We have two jobs. The second
two
job is to bring him in alive.
Hand the datapad over to the old lady. And hand Frankie over to our friends in the Sons and the Ancients.
I
was hired for one job.
You were there when we got hired for the second job.
Yeah, you were definitely there.
I was, but I didn't agree to it.
It was agreed to on your behalf.
I mean, if you don't want the extra two.
Summer, we are not taking a 40% pay cut.
You can be part of this run and agree to the job, or you can be not part of this run and not agree to the job.
Dienka kind of looks at you and sort of wiggles the cigarette out from between her tusks and taps off the ash into an ashtray that looks like it should have been emptied about 3 weeks ago and says, do you guys need a moment?
Apparently.
Later. We can discuss that later.
Do you want to have that moment on the stoop outside? Because, you know, I'm having a smoke, he's eating.
No, this idiot
I think our agreement with you doesn't need to involve our own personal disagreements.
I agree. So if you're going to do that, could you do it outside?
We will do.
We'll do that later.
Good.
Right, Chummer, we're doing you a big solid if we get rid of the 39ers. Does your gang want in on the action?
Make me a negotiation roll.
Sure. Can anyone else assist?
Yes, if they want.
I wouldn't mind helping. Yep, I have.
I can assist. Slipstream's actually social, as it happens.
Okay, so if we could get all the rolls in.
I'm doing etiquette. Plus...
You got mine right?
Yes, you have 4 hits. So 3 hits from Thoiger, 4 from Slipstream.
So that gives me a +7.
Yeah, and anybody else contributing?
Huggy is not the most charismatic of people, so she's not going to bother.
Mav is not contributing.
8 hits. Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay, so
hell.
you have 8 hits to their critical glitch. She stands up, just reaches into her boot and pulls out a Ruger and says, eat up, Vinny. Where are we going?
The walk.
All right.
We're taking the orcs to 39ers territory.
Thank you for listening to the Pride Against Prejudice podcast. We hope that you enjoy the show and look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks' time for our next episode. Intro is More Human Than Human by Karl Casey, and the background music is also by Karl Casey. Outro music is Neon Thrills by Luck Hash. All sound effects are from freesound.org and credited in the show notes. The Tops Company Inc. has the sole ownership of the names, logo, artworks, marks, photographs, audio, video, and/or any other proprietary material used in connection with the game Shadowrun. The
Tops Company Inc. has granted permission to the Pride Against Prejudice podcast to use such names, logos, artwork, marks, and or any other proprietary material for promotional and informational purposes on its website, but does not endorse and is not affiliated with the Pride Against Prejudice podcast in any official capacity whatsoever. All other works mentioned in this podcast remain the property of their respective owners. The Pride Against Prejudice podcast is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 license. So if you want to use any part of the show, please give us the credit.